Speaking in the high-profile case before the Georgetown Magistrate Court, Nandlall explained that the extradition request from the United States was sent through formal diplomatic channels, invoking Guyana's international legal obligations.
First of all, the interests are not really competing. On the one hand, the state of Guyana has international obligations on the treaties that it would have signed and on the international law and international practices. Among those international obligations is extradition. Guyana is part of a global community, and extradition is now an entrenched process that pervades the globe. And there are existing relations between and among nations to use this process in order to transport to different countries persons who are accused or charged with the commission of offenses across frontiers.
The Attorney General emphasized that extradition is a long established legal mechanism, not a political tool. It is based on treaties, reciprocity, and mutual respect among nations.
Extradition is not a complicated process. And the more the law evolved, the more relaxed the process has become. For example, all the case law authorities say very clearly, and case law authorities that emanate from all over the world, they say, for example, that the treaty must not be technically interpreted. It must not be interpreted like a legal instrument, but like a contract between two states. In other words, legalese must not complicate and unduly legalize the process of interpretation of the treaty. It must be interpreted in a manner to promote extradition, promote the objectives of extradition.
He further clarified that the U.S. request was processed through the highest diplomatic and judicial channel, bearing signatures from the U.S. Secretary of State and Attorney General before reaching Guyana's ministries of Foreign Affairs and Home Affairs. Nandlall dismissed claims that offenses listed in the U.S. indictment, such as mail and wire fraud, are not recognized in Guyana, calling such arguments a tremendous misconception.
For the purposes of this act, an offense of which a person is accused or has been convicted in Guyana or any other Commonwealth country or treaty territory shall be an extraditable offense where the act or omission constituting the offense, however described, constitutes an offense and is punishable with death or imprisonment for life or a term of not less than 2 years under the law of Guyana and of the Commonwealth or treaty territory making the request to the government of Guyana for
He
extradition.
explained that acts labeled as wire fraud or mail fraud in the U.S. correspond to fraud, altering forged documents, or money laundering under Guyanese law, all carrying severe penalties. The Attorney General stressed that the case extends beyond Guyana, touching on international financial integrity and the global fight against transnational crimes. He recalled the 2014 backlisting scare when Guyana faced sanctions over delayed anti-money laundering legislation, warning that non-cooperation could damage the nation's economic standing.
This is exactly the signal that unfortunately was sent when our parliament, in which the opposition enjoyed a one-seat majority, voted down bills that were intended to meet our financial international obligations. That's exactly the position what the world took in relation to Guyana, that we are a pariah state. We are a state that is encouraging illicit crime, illicit proceeds, organized crime, money laundering, drug smuggling, because why else would you not want to comply with what every country in the world is complying with and what we have accepted by signing on to conventions as the acceptable behavior to which we will subscribe. You see, that is why I said this thing is based upon reciprocity, mutuality, and committee. And we all of us have phones.
Concluding, Nandlall emphasized that extradition strengthens rather than undermines Guyana's sovereignty, demonstrating the country's reliability and maturity on the global stage. He reaffirmed that rule of law, international duty, and national integrity must guide the process. Adana Dorrick, Guyana TV9 News.